Graham fam, you guys know I love me some Graham fam, but we got to talk. You got the State Fair Classic this weekend. What can you do to improve the team? What can we see in this game against Prairie View to give us some confidence that we're still going to have a good season and still have a chance to win the SWAC West? Let's talk about it after the bumper. What is up, everybody? What is up, everybody? My name is JeffLightsyJr. here at the Black Boss channel on Victory Formation. Thank you guys for tuning in. Be sure to hit that thumbs up button, like, share, subscribe, and the notification bell because we upload every single day. Now, I'm here today to talk about the Graham fam. Grambling goes into their game against Prairie View, State Fair Classic, one of the most recognizable games in all of HBCU football. Prairie View's won the last four, and Coach Bubba McDowell's team is playing really, really well as they sit atop of the SWAC West Conference, SWAC West Division. They sit atop of the division. They're one of the best teams in all the SWAC. They've been playing really, really well under first-year head coach Bubba McDowell. Now, but I'm here to talk about Coach Hue Jackson and the Graham fam. And part of what needs to take place is the offense. Not having Maurice Washington last week hurt a lot. Not having Ryan Peppins hurt. It did. And not having Maurice Washington, your best player on your team, your best player on offense, that hurt a ton. And it showed. Now, it didn't show early because Grambling was able to score 19 points in the first half. The problem is that they didn't score any points in the second half. They didn't score any points in the second half. And Quintarius Hawkins has to cut down on the turnovers. Quintarius, I'd like to see him personally run more and have better decision making with the ball, because as far as pressure goes, the pressure isn't crazy, right? Like Bethune-Cookman didn't get crazy pressure. Let me go ahead and pull up. Let me go ahead and pull up the box score from the game just so we can all, take a look at it together. But the pressure that was, put on Quintarius Hawkins wasn't just abnormal, wasn't insane, wasn't crazy. He just has to be able to make better decisions. And his playmakers on the outside have to be able to get open. And that's where I think Peppins helps a lot. Obviously, having your best player is going to help a ton, right? Having Maurice Washington. And that goes into my thought process on, I think Maurice Washington has to touch the ball at least 25 times per game. And that is including catching the ball out the backfield and running the ball. They've limited his touches. They've limited his touches in every game this season that he's played in. But, Hawkins was only sacked one time. He's only sacked one time. He was 22 of 43, which isn't good. It's hovering around 50% completion percentage. That's not good. And then, of course, the turnovers, the 2 interceptions, that's detrimental. Grambling ran the ball effectively. But when they had to throw the ball in the second half because they couldn't get any points, right? Like, they couldn't score. They had the turnovers. They had bad penalties too. See, another thing about this game against Bethune and what you don't want to carry over in your game against Prairie View is that Grambling threw for more yards than Bethune. They ran for just as many yards as Bethune, so they had more yards than Bethune total. They had the ball longer than Bethune. They had a longer time of possession. It's just the biggest difference was penalties and turnovers. And part of that is on the decision-making of your quarterback. I think he's got to run the ball more. And because when he runs it, he's dynamic. He makes plays with his legs. Run the ball more, stop putting the ball in harm's way, and then coaching. And then Coach Hue Jackson, I watched him on MTMV Sports. Shout out to the MTMV folks over there at the Hue Dat podcast. And he talked about how the turnovers are a part of the coaching. The coaching has to step up their game. The coaching has to step up what they're doing. The coaching has to go in with a better game plan, and hopefully that shows better results. But I heard Hue say something, and I thought this is interesting because I remember when another coach did the same thing. Coach Hue essentially made the same proclamation that Deion Sanders made that spring year. Deion Sanders, if you remember back in the spring, he said, y'all better get us now. Y'all better get us now. Meaning when they was losing Alabama State, they was losing Alabama A&M, they was They were losing to, they lost like 3 or 4 games in the spring. He said, y'all better beat us now. Because when the dogs come in, it's going to be a different story. And now we're starting to see that. We saw it last year. They went undefeated in the SWAC. And now we're seeing just a total obliteration through 4 games. Granted, it's just 4 games. But through 4 games, the obliteration of the conference right now, winning games by an average of 6 touchdowns. Like, that's ridiculous. And so Coach Hue essentially made that same proclamation. He didn't say it as profoundly as Deion Sanders, but in his interview with Miss Grambling, the Miss Grambling lady over there on MV Sports, you can go check that out. Shout out to those guys. They do a real good job. Rick Sincere and those folks over there. But he said, y'all better get with us now, because this is our growing year. This is our year of growth. This is where we find out who's dogs, who aren't dogs, where we need to upgrade, where we need to get better, where we need to upgrade on the coaching staff too. See, it's not just players. When you upgrade and you come from season to season, the players aren't just being evaluated. The coaches are also being evaluated, as we've seen on Coach Prime's very own staff. Guys that were there in the spring, his first year, aren't there now. Hell, guys that had positions last year aren't in those same positions now, this year. Brett Bartolone, that name ring a bell? Yeah, the new offensive coordinator. He's the new offensive coordinator for a reason. And this is essentially what Coach Hue is saying, the same thing. And now some of the things, because I think there's a nice amount of talent at Grambling. They have to upgrade the secondary in the offseason. That's just clear. The secondary has to be upgraded in the offseason, and you got to get better play out of your quarterback. Now, whether that means he just takes a step up, he has another year in the season, another year in the system, or you replace him with a guy via the transfer portal, maybe a guy that's backing him up right now, regardless. But Hawkins can't be completing around 50% of his passes if you expect to be successful in the SWAC. The teams are too good. The players are too good. That's the same problem Alabama A&M is having. That's why they're 0-4. Langford, too many turnovers. Too many turnovers from the quarterback position. And then they throw Quincy Casey in there for a drive or 2 and then yank him. That's not how you be successful. And so Grambling smartly isn't doing that. That's just I don't want to talk about Coach Maynard, but that just isn't smart. And so Coach Hue Jackson isn't thinking that. But he understands. He is having his developmental season. He's learning a lot, not just about his team, not just about his players, but also about his coaches and also about the guys that he goes to war with in the trenches outside of the players, but those coaches in the administration and everybody. This is a year-long evaluation, but to get better, but that's talking about future talk. Grand family, I don't want to hear about future talk. I want to hear about how you can get better now, today. The part of the way of getting better today is your quarterback has to see the field better, and he's got to cut down the turnovers. And if you eliminate those turnovers, cut down on some of those penalties, and continue to get the ball in your playmaker's hand, i.e. Mr. Washington, and when Ryan Peppins comes back, I think you're going to be fine. Continue to get the ball to Wilson. I see you finally got Faison Wilson involved in the offense last week against Bethune. Continue to get him the ball. Continue to get him the ball. So I'm encouraged by what I see from Grambling. This is a growing process. Grand fam, stick with me. All hope is not lost. You still have a legit shot of winning the SWAC West because the favorite Southern, they aren't, they aren't world beaters. Alcorn is really good, but they aren't world beaters. And you'll get a good test this week against Prairie View and Coach Bubba McDowell and what they've got. So Grand fam, all hope is not lost. Woo-sah, deep breath, but we will get an even better evaluation about your team and whether they're able to correct some of those mistakes they made against Bethune this week against Prairie View. Leave your thoughts in the comments down below. The Grand fam, leave your thoughts in the comments down below. Once again, my name is JeffLightsYjr with the Black Boss channel with Victory Formation. Thank you guys for tuning in. Be sure to hit that thumbs up button, like, share, subscribe. We're on the road to we broke through the 4,000 barrier. We're at 4,300. We're on the road to 4,500. Then next will be 5K. No, actually, we're on the road to 5K. 5,000 subscribers. Shout out to you guys. Continue to hit that subscribe button. Share to your friends. YouTube's being janky with my channel, but we're growing. We're a growing base, and it's all because of you guys. Thank you guys so much for the support. You can also follow me on Instagram and Twitter at JLightsy7. That is Instagram and Twitter at JLightsy7. Thank you guys for tuning in. Hit that thumbs up button on your way out. See you next time. Peace.